Hi, I'm Linda, Teen Librarian at the Traverse Area District Library. And this month our craft is to make a crocheted headband. So if you haven't got your craft kit yet, call the Traverse Area District Library main location on Woodmere or stop at our curbside and ask for a craft kit. Inside your craft kit you will have a small skein of yarn, a crochet hook, and a yarn needle. Also, you're going to have instructions with some of the very basic, all the stitches we're going to use. It's for left-handed and right-handed, so everyone should be able to do this. I will be using this large skein. This is what yarn usually comes in, is large skeins like this. That was a little much for this project, so I gave you these cute little things. So let's get started. Okay, you're going to pull out about 4 to 6 inches of yarn, and then the next thing you need to do is to make a slip knot. So to make the slip knot, you put 2 fingers in the yarn and just twist it. And then you're going to reach up and you grab the other side and you pull that through. So let me show you that one more time. 2 fingers, just wrapped around 2 fingers, twist it so you have an X, and come up and grab the one that pulls it through. And then you can twist, make it longer or shorter. And we're going to slip that onto our crochet hook and then snug it up, just like that. So after you have your slip knot onto the crochet hook, you need to create a chain. So I just lay my yarn over through my fingers like that so I could have a little bit more control. However you hold it is okay. You need 2 fingers to hold the tail of the slip knot tight, and the others will give you the yarn that you're going to be creating your chain with. So now I have it on. It's in either right or left hand depending on which handed you are. It's in your dominant hand is the crochet hook. So the crochet hook is what's going to move. So we get the yarn around the crochet hook and you hold on to the slip knot and you pull it through. And you're going to do that 13 times. The slip knot itself does not count, so that was 1 chain, 2 chains, just around and through, 3 chains, and as I do it, my fingers are going to move up the chain to keep it nice and even. 4 chains, around 5 chains, around 6 chains, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So if you see, I have a nice row of 13 here, and now I'm going to start my pattern and move up. If you've never chained before with a crochet hook, you may want to do a chain of like 20, pull it out, do another chain of 20, pull it out, do another chain of 20. Anytime I've been away from crocheting for a while, I always do some chaining to try and get them even, get the tension even. And then once you're comfortable with it, then you go and you do your first 13 chains. So let's pull some more yarn out, and I'm going to lay the yarn over my fingers and grab this and start my next row. So the next row is a row of double crochets. So a double crochet, you wrap the yarn around the crochet hook, and then you turn, you count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it in the 4th chain hole, then you grab onto it and pull it through. So now you have 3 on. You put another yarn over, and then you go through 2 of them, put another yarn over, and you go through the last 2. So we're going to try that again. You put the yarn around the hook, go into the next hole or the next chain, yarn around and pull it up. Then yarn around and pull it through 2, yarn around and pull it through 2. We'll do that a couple more times. Around the hook, down into the next chain, grab the yarn and pull it through, yarn around and pull it through, yarn around the hook and pull it through. So we now have 3 double crochets. Go around into the next chain, pull your yarn through, around the hook, pull through 2, around the hook, and pull through 2. So I'm going to let you go ahead and finish that, and we'll come back at the end of this. Once you get down to the end, you should have 11 double crochets on this. The knot here at the end, the slip knot, is not considered one. You don't go into the slip knot. So this chain that we brought across to make a double crochet counts as 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's our second row. The first row was our chains. And then we're going to chain again, so exactly like you did in the beginning. Wrap the yarn around. Let me get myself a little bit tighter here. Yarn around and yarn through. And do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This is called the turning chain. So this is where we turn the work over to go work back the other direction. When you turn it over, your tail should be towards the bottom and your hook should be up at the top. Now we're going to start in on the pattern that makes it the nice lacy pattern. Get your yarn on your fingers and cross over, put your yarn over, and then go down into the next open hole. So this hole right here is not the one you want to use. This hole is where the chain, the turning chain, is actually coming off of it. So you want to go to the next one after that. And when you go through, you're going to go through both of those yarns. Grab it and pull it through, around, and pull it through, around, and pull it through. So the chain, turning chain, is 1 double crochet, and this is another double crochet. So after that, you're going to chain 1, and this is how we're going to make a pattern on it. So we chain 1, and because we chained 1, we're going to skip the next spot. So wrap around, and we're doing double crochets and chaining the whole way. Those are the only 2 stitches you're going to use throughout this. Skip the next one and go to the one after that. Go through both pieces of yarn, grab the yarn and pull it through, wrap around and pull the yarn through 2, wrap around, and then pull the yarn through 2. And then let's do that one more time. Wrap around, go down into the very next opening, the next double crochet, and you grab the yarn and pull it through, wrap around, pull the yarn through, wrap around, and pull the yarn through. So we just did 2 more double crochets, and now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. wrap your yarn around, and because we chained 2, we're going to skip 2. Skip, skip, and go into this one. Pull your yarn through, wrap around, pull it through 2, wrap around, and pull it through 2. And you see how that makes these 2 little windows where we skipped here and we skipped 2 here. And that is the look we're going through for. So now I'm going to do 2 more for a total of 3 double crochets in a row. So go into the next one, pull it through, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, and pull through 2. Yarn over, go in there, pull it through, wrap around, pull it through, wrap around, and pull through. So that's the end of that row. So now we're going to chain 3 again. Every time at the end of the row we need to do a turning chain so that we don't end up with a really funky looking headband. 1, 2, 3. Turn it over, and we're going to start the exact same pattern again. So loop, not this one, but this one. You're going to go in and double crochet around and through both, around and through both. And then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to yarn over, skip 1, and then go into the next one. And these, because we're going into a chain, it's not as easy as when you're going into a double crochet. So sometimes what I like to do is catch it with my hook and go through. And you see I have 2 pieces of yarn up top and 1 piece of yarn through the bottom. And hook it. You're being a fussy little thing. There you go. Pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. I'm going to do that one more time. Yarn over, and go into the next chain, and grab that bottom one, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over 2 and through 2. So we just did 2 double crochets, and now we are going to do 2 chains. Then we're going to double crochet, and we're going to skip and skip and go into the next chain and pull 1 through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I'm going to do that 2 more times. This one's easier because it's going into a double crochet. Over and pull through, over and pull through. And the last one is going into this turning chain. Pull through, over, and pull through, over, and pull through. And then we will chain. So we just did 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 3. 2, 3. And we're going to continue on, and it makes these random sized, 3 different sized holes that are going to go back and forth all the way up the pattern. Go ahead and do continue on until you have about 20 inches, and then we will be ready to sew it together. Alright, so say you're going along, you're doing your pattern really nicely, and you get into the rhythm and you just stop paying attention to what you're doing, and you realize you have a mistake in there. You can just leave it, because with this pattern it's pretty forgiving and it will accept a little bit of off things. That's why the squares are different sizes and in different places. But if you really want to make sure it's perfect, here is what you do. You take your hook out and lay it aside, And I want you to kind of hold this a little tight so that it doesn't unravel any further than you want it to, and gently pull the thread out, and you see how it's popping out one stitch at a time. You do that until you get to the spot where you can start over again. So I took it all the way back to my turning chain, and now I will slide my hook back on and continue on with the pattern the way it was written. Once you have crocheted it so it's long enough, which is about 20 inches, go ahead and take it around your head and make sure it fits. If it's a little too snug, then continue and add another row or two, or if it's too loose, you can always slowly pull out a row, just like we did when we make a mistake. The next step is to tie them together. So what you want to do is take some scissors or a knife or something and cut your yarn, leaving a nice little tail. Pull this out so you have the whole hoop. Grab the yarn, oops, take out your knitting needle, grab the yarn through, and just pull it, and it makes a tight little knot there. Then you're going to bring both edges together and line them up as even as you can. And we're going to take our yarn needle, we're going to thread the yarn needle. The yarn should go right through it pretty easy because it's got a nice big opening. Pull it through, and then we're going to just lace it up. So you just take your yarn needle and go through the yarn that's sticking up, and you don't have to pull it too tight because you want it to lay flat when you're all done with this. You don't want them sticking out, but you don't want it super tight. So lace it all the way across, just in and out. It won't take but a few minutes. Now, because I ended on the same side as I started, I am going to have to take my thread back through. See, I get to this end here and there's no way for me to tie them together. If you ended at opposite ends and then going through to lace it up, you would be at the same end, and then you could just tie a knot there. But because I'm on opposites, I am going to go back through to the other side so that I can tie it off. So just a few larger stitches the other direction. And here we are. Both our strings are together now. So I can just take and put a knot right there, knot them together. 1, 2. Then so if we cut our thread off here, we're going to have little pieces sticking out. So I am going to take the thread, this one's still on the yarn needle, and just kind of stick it through a bunch of these yarns. And then straighten it out. And then carefully, I'm going to cut the yarn off. I want to be careful that I don't cut my project. And we still have this one, so we're going to re-thread the needle. And do the same on this side. Just kind of weave it in and out through some of the yarn so it'll be hidden. nice out so it's all flat. And then cut it off. Then you're going to turn it right side out and you have yourself a headband. And the only thing left to do now is to try it on and see if it fits. Yep, I think my ears should be really warm now. Yep, I think my worms